some injury updates on Clayton Kershaw, Brusdar Graterol, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Walker Buehler, Joe Kelly. We get like no updates on these guys for like weeks. And then all of a sudden it's like Dave just is feeling it today and felt like, hey, you know what? We're just going to fire off updates on all these guys. Let's talk Kershaw first. He's the biggest name on this list, so he gets to go first. Resumed his throwing program and has improved according to the Dodgers. Played catch 2 days in a row. Will plan on throwing a bullpen session on Wednesday. Still no timetable to return, but after being shut down for a week, was expected to make a rehab start a week ago, shut down from throwing completely. This is the exact type of report you're hoping to get. A, oh, by the way, he played catch the last 2 days, and B, he looked better than when he was shut down before.
Yeah, it's all about how he feels. It's all about how it is. And when he's clear to go back on a mound, and when that time comes, game scenario, and there's the days following. That's kind of all we can hope with Clayton, and what kind of the workload will be after that, and how much strain he can put on that shoulder, and then go from there. But all updates with Clayton, it's going to be good. It's the time when we say we don't know. And we don't know. We'll keep you posted, that type of thing. It's the same. If with Clayton Kershaw, we don't hear an update, that's how I know it's a bad news stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he got shut down for a week. And the fact that you update that you get a week later is not only is he going to play catch, he's already played catch twice, and now he's got a bullpen scheduled. To me, that's best case scenario. That's the Dodgers not only telling you something, oh, no, he feels good, I promise, but actually, like, if he didn't feel good, he wouldn't be playing catch and he wouldn't be scheduling a bullpen, right?
I was going to ask you, how much of this do you think is Kershaw just chomping at the bit? That he was right there. He probably came away right after the game. I mean, I can't speak for him, but coming away during that outing, and he wants to stay out there for another hitter, like he wanted to be on that mound. How much do you think he's just pushing? Do you think he's pushing totally. At all? Or, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think absolutely. But I also think, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be reckless with him in that sense. I mean, I think there was like with Walker Buehler, I think Walker Buehler coming back when he did in the way that he did had a lot to do with him pushing. But I also think the Dodgers probably looked at it and said like, well, you're not a health risk. Like you might be an actual liability as a pitcher, but you're not like going to injure yourself by coming back in the form that you currently are. I think with Kershaw there, I mean, the fact that they shut him down for a week tells me that he's not just full steam ahead, like tear out the brakes and go for it. So again, I think there's going to be ups and downs as far as in this process. There's going to be starts and stops. Hopefully we've seen the last of the stops, but remains to be seen. The next update, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I see some people in the chat joking, is this a real update? Yamamoto, I would say, falls into the category of not necessarily a real update. No throwing program started yet. He is, quote, doing shoulder exercises pain-free, and, quote, hope is that he will start playing catch soon. That to me is the type of update that is either nothing or negative. Like there's nothing positive in what we just heard from Yamamoto. It's either bad news or no news.
Yeah, Yamamoto's concerning. It really is for me. Like I saw people talk about in chat, and for me, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, Jeff, but I think for the length of the contract and just how much of an investment Yamamoto is, and how much is tied into, his health. And the opt-outs that are in his contract with, time on the injured list, I'm not sure that the Dodgers will, like, maybe they'll just hold off on shutting him down for the rest of the year just so they don't trigger opt-outs like that. Yeah. But I'm not sure we see Yamamoto in a large capacity. Like, I can't believe it until I see it. But I'm gonna be out on Yamamoto being a huge contributor until we actually get news that the Dodgers cleared him, just because of how much of an investment it is in him.
Yeah. Look, I was on this from the second that it happened. And I was the guy saying, like, his injury might be worse than Mookie's because we don't know if he's going to come back. So, yeah, look, it's still possible that a month and a half from now, he's back in the Dodger uniform pitching. But I haven't seen enough to convince me that that's a trajectory we're headed on. As the account pointed out, Kershaw, in the sense that he was feeling good, did get a couple shots in his shoulder. Soreness is normal. He gets the shots. He feels better. He's throwing. So we'll see if that continues. Let's move on to Walker Buehler. Has started a throwing program. If you believe he was actually really hurt, I, for one, do not believe that he was physically hurt. I think he was mentally, emotionally, and as a pitcher hurt by what happened. The interesting thing with him, though, Scott, is that he's not with the team. They kind of said this vague, like he's with people we trust. to me, it feels like Walker Buehler's in the lab at Driveline trying to figure something out. I mean, it might not actually be Driveline, but it's some version of he's with some folks that are trying to maximize and tweak and tinker and figure out some things. And that's the update that we have on Walker Buehler.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's something, I don't know if concerning, but intriguing is more so the thing I would say.
It can't be worse. Things can't get worse.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So it's like we're coming from a place that, we already saw him make a significant change. And what I believe it was the way to try to maximize what he has and some upside of his stuff, which was we were talking about incorporating sinker cutter and going that route and less four seam. And I know you brought up that, he might have got a little worse, but, he's pitching in Coors and he had another start that was bad prior. But it's just a difficult thing when you see that drastic of a change from an organization as, like in depth as the Dodgers to do that. So I wouldn't think they would clear it just to do it or like to have that change happen just to do it. So now those results aren't positive. He doesn't look comfortable. And after the game, we got those quotes we were on here and he sounded bummed and we were bummed for him. Yeah. So for him to go outside of the organization, it might just be some time away, try to maximize stuff there. And it's definitely going to be with the people that the Dodgers trust. And they'll be like, okay, this is a move for your future. It's not just a move for us. It's about your future in Major League Baseball. Can you be a competitive pitcher? But it's definitely interesting. I don't know how much news we'll hear about it until we do. But as long as his health is good, his elbow's good. Hopefully, I know I jokingly sent you a thing that they're going to try to find a way to, have him pull an Edwin Diaz without the sticky like that. But he's got to do something because if not, then we won't see him either.
I said it from the moment that it happened. I think he reached bottom, and bottom can be good because it makes you desperate. It opens up all possibilities. I guarantee you there were things that the Dodgers were asking Walker Buehler to try in the last 8 weeks that he said no to because he said, no, I know what to do. I know how to do it. I got this. And then you need to hit rock bottom to realize I don't got this. And so, I think some people are probably going to make this, he's not with the team, bad at it, whatever. No, this is the best possible update that we could have gotten from Walker Buehler because it tells me he is open to anything. He is willing to go to the smartest people who study this stuff and know how pitching works in a way that maybe he doesn't even understand and can understand his body in a way that maybe he intuitively doesn't understand it and try to milk every last ounce of ability and potential that he has. It might not work. But if you were to tell me, here are the 12 paths that Walker Buehler could walk down, which one do you think has the highest likelihood of being successful? It would be this. It would be go back to the drawing board, go to the nerds in a lab, in a freaking office park in Seattle, and let those guys just try some crap out. Throw some stuff against the wall, change your grips, try and maximize velocity, maximize spin, whatever these guys do, and just figure out what works. That to me would be the highest likelihood of success. And after all, that's what we're getting. So I think to me, not necessarily a guarantee to be positive for Walker Buehler, but it's the best possible update that we could have gotten in my estimation. 2 more updates here for you. Joe Kelly makes his first rehab appearance in Rancho. It was his first time on the mound since May 5th. Not expected back until after the All-Star game. Expected to make 3 or more rehab appearances, likely for Rancho, I would assume. But again, you just like the progression. He made a rehab appearance. He hadn't done that before. I don't care about the results at all. Good news for the Dodgers on a night when the bullpen struggled that Kelly and Graterol we're going to get to here in a moment. Good to have some positive updates. I'll just give you the Graterol one too. He's expected to pitch in a simulated game, quote, soon, working out in the spring training complex in the meantime. Again, we all expected the next update to be season-ending surgery. We didn't get that update. So Joe Kelly appearing in a rehab game. Brusdar Graterol one step behind that. Expected to pitch in a simulated game soon. Great news for the Dodgers if those two guys can get healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably with a lot of people and maybe even you, Jeff. It's like I didn't expect to see or hear anything about Graterol just because of how, there just was nothing. We had no clue about him and then just poof out of nowhere. But I think that, for where the bullpen is at and how much, like I've talked about a couple things that I really believe that, The Dodgers are on some run where they have some formula. It's the same thing I see with the Brewers, that they're just bringing in random guys, random arms, and they just have some formula that's working for them. I see it with the Dodgers with Landon Knack, Gavin Stone, and they're just putting it in with their pitchers. Yohan Ramirez, we're talking Anthony Banda. So it's just guys that are coming up and having a lot of success, and it's just across the board. It's not just spot stuff. So a lot of these young guys, I think that whatever they've got cooking, I think that I just have a ton of trust in the bullpen right now. I think they can do no wrong, and I had confidence with them no matter what the patchwork job was going to be from the start of the season. And if we see Joe Kelly, if we see Brusdar here pretty soon, then it's just going to do nothing but, deepen the bullpen and maybe give Blake Treinen some rest. Maybe they're able to pull something off there where they're able to get him off of his feet and kind of save him for later on in the year. And kind of limit those innings because there has been some fatigue. So I don't know what they have to do, but it's just good. It's same thing with the starting rotation. It's never going to be too much to have too many arms. And I think right now with how much production they're getting from so many different guys, Daniel Hudson looks locked in. Evan Phillips is, bumpy. But it's good to see that we've got some positive news finally, because I didn't think we'd hear anything on Brusdar.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. You said you can't have too many pitchers. Well, you can only have 13 on a roster at the same time.
Yeah.
Phillips, Hudson, Treinen, Banda, Yarbrough, and Ramirez. None of those guys can be optioned. So Michael Peterson and Alex Vesia, the only two guys who can be optioned. Peterson's spot, obviously, I would say is to some degree up for grabs, although he's been pretty good. Vesia, I don't think is going anywhere. But just to give you context, like when Kelly comes back and when Graterol comes back, they're going to have to figure something out because Peterson can give his spot up pretty easily. He's got 3 options remaining. But beyond that, maybe it's, hey, Treinen, you get the next 2 weeks, and then Daniel Hudson gets the 2 weeks after you, and you just have the circular injured list. But I think could be the way they do it because Grove is another guy who's on the injured list who's probably expected back at some point. So there's some names out there who are going to need to find somewhere to pitch.
June was tough. June was a really difficult injury month for them. Like the Dodgers, it's just insane, like all across the board. So it was just a tough month, and they endured, went 16-10. So they're playing at a high level still. Like I think their biggest division lead in the month, I think, was 9 games. So we're talking across, that's it opens up possibilities for them to really, do some roster manipulation there. I know the league is having a little bit more of an eye on it. But I think that the Dodgers, I'm with you. I think that it's going to be a way for them to find some rest for some of these arms there, stay away from them, use some guys who have some options there, and just keep arms fresh. And I saw somebody bring up Kyle Hurt. Like, I'm with you, Yang Yi. Like, I think Kyle Hurt can be someone that is going to contribute to this major league roster later on in the year or pretty soon. We don't know, but I'm very happy that he's pitching right now. So it's just another arm. They have a lot. They do. Starting pitching wise, we don't know. We're going to have to talk to deadline stuff, but bullpen wise, I'm very confident what they've got cooking there.
Yeah, Kyle Hurt, by the way, we've got an interview with him up on the Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube page. I was down in Reno, got to see Alec Thomas when he was on his rehab appearance, but interviewed Kyle Hurt, talked to him. Hey, you're a full-time reliever now, kind of for the first time in your life. How has that been? And remember, he was up with the big league club, got injured, is sort of not quite a rehab appearance, but in many ways it's similar to a rehab appearance. He's basically the de facto closer now down in Oklahoma City. So he's a guy to keep an eye on as well. I think that's a great call. And then Ryan Brasier is the other guy who's injured that we haven't gotten any positive news or really any news, but the last news wasn't positive news. So he's another name to keep an eye on. So again, a wide roundup of injury updates there. Kershaw, Yamamoto, Graterol, Kelly, and Walker Buehler as well.